organizers, welcome to this snowstorm that ended up hitting us in springtime and ended up giving my horse a cold stress colic. So this is my Mustang 8640, and she's been doing really well with eating the grain out of the bucket and following me and just being calm in my presence. And we were having a lot of warmer weather, like even t-shirt weather. And then all of a sudden we got this really cold snowstorm, and it went from just being cold and rainy to being colder and rainy to being even colder and rainy. And this poor Mustang, she's come originally from Nevada is where she's from. So they probably don't have winters as cold as what we do in Canada and kind of our extreme weather fluctuations. And as it's super cold and snowy, like I'm giving her some grain, trying to get some alfalfa into her, more fiber to keep her warm. And then you can see she had a little startle there, which, she's overall been doing really, really good though. So I'm trying to feed her a little bit. And one of the hardest things about having a Mustang that's not fully tame or gentle yet is that I can't just put a blanket on her. And I can't necessarily give her, different medicines or things that I want to do. It's great that she's eating food and she's eating the grain that I'm giving her, but it's not possible to bring her into the barn, into a really warm area. It's not possible to put a blanket on her. It's not possible to have the vet come out and do any work with her. And so after finishing her meal, so she actually did eat, all of her food for this particular feeding. And she seemed pretty good. And I was like, okay, like this shouldn't be too bad. And then, I start to take a little closer look at her and I see how she is shivering so hard. Sometimes it's hard to tell when it's really cold, but I think as I was giving her food, like her body was having more energy to shiver a little bit more, and I could see the twitching. And so if you look kind of towards her butt cheeks, you can see her leg area literally twitching and quivering, and she's really tucked up, like really tight in her body, really tight in her abdomen, which means that she's cold, and you can see the shaking a little bit. And then she starts to she's finishing her food, she seems pretty much okay, but then what she started to do was roll. And so this is what colic can look like, is it's like, okay, my belly's uncomfortable. And probably a part of that is that she's really cold and shivering, and then she's probably not drinking enough water. And because I gave her some grain, like with the alfalfa pellets, to give her some more fiber, some more energy, if she doesn't go and drink water, then she could feel like she has a belly upset. And because she's not fully tame yet, I can't take a syringe of water and give it to her in her mouth. I can't get the vet to come out and tube her or flush fluids into her. We can't do any of those options. One of the things that I was really impressed with is that she felt comfortable showing me like, hey, my belly feels upset. I feel uncomfortable. So as she's laying down, and I think she's just, stretching, trying to help herself feel better, I come over and I put some salts and minerals into the bucket, because I want to try to encourage her to want to drink more. So sometimes if you get a horse to eat something that's a little bit salty, then that can provoke them to want to go have a drink. And you can see she gets up really calmly. She's not running away from me or anything like that. And then she lays down on the other side. So she's really just trying to show me my belly's uncomfortable. I'm uncomfortable. So even though she's not doing very well in this moment, I feel really, really kind of honored, I guess you could say, that she feels so relaxed and calm in my presence, that she's okay being vulnerable with me. She's okay showing me that she's not feeling super well. And the shaking, the pawing, the walking, that's all kind of classic colic symptoms, and the rolling as well. So for me, super difficult to think of like, what can I do for my horse that she can't get typical treatment. And here you can see the shivering a little bit more. I zoom in so you can see the twitching that was happening. So I go and I get her a warm bucket of water. So I thought maybe if she's not drinking her cold water, maybe she'll come and drink some of the warm water. And so she checked it out. She did like a couple little licks of it. wasn't super keen on it. So then we thought, okay, well, go get your friend Loki that you were out with before, because thought maybe with Loki being in there, they might stand together and share warmth, or he might stand in the shelter and then she would stand in the shelter, or drink water together. And so I got this little tiny moment of them being in the shelter together. It ended up working well because she is okay the next day. So we were able to take Loki out of the pen again, and it was starting to warm up. Like, it's still cold, but at least it's not snowing, it's not raining, so she's able to get dry, and then she's eating again normally, the grain and everything else. So I'm super thankful that she's actually okay. And that gave me a little bit of some more awareness of, okay, there's enjoying having a slow, gradual process with my horse where we're really bonding. She's really calm and relaxed in my presence, and it's working well with my schedule because I'm able to just do these short sessions. Most of my sessions are, somewhere between 10 and 15 minutes with her. I don't have a lot of time, typically, just balancing all the other things that I do with being a mom, with all the different appointments and things that I'm going to. So short sessions, not necessarily every day, sometimes daily, but sometimes missing a few days. So it's nice to kind of reflect and think, okay, I'm doing everything really gradually, but we really need to start making some more progress, because if you get sick again like that, I really want to be able to call the vet and be able to get you some help, not just be thinking, I'm going to have this really slow, gradual process and you're going to have several months of not being able to receive proper care. And although she's eating grain, and typically I could add, like if she needed an antibiotic or something, I could add it to her grain. In that case, she wasn't eating the grain, so I couldn't give her anything. So I'm like, okay, we better get working on all of these touches and start progressing towards the point where we can start to put a halter on you and get to that place where we can start progressing so you can get the proper health care that you need being a domestic horse. So I'm still using patience and body language and my presence, but I'm also using the grain for a little bit of positive reinforcement, just to boost that motivation a little bit more. You can see I can do a lot of touching. I'm all over her shoulder, her neck, even going down her legs, and she's really accepting of me around her body. So, and part of this, I feel like she softened even more with having had that upset belly ache and me trying to help her. I think she can recognize that I was trying to help her, because overall I feel like this first session back to her feeling herself, we're actually making more progress with touches than we have in the past. And part of that can be that you build trust with other people or other animals when you go through difficult times. Even if you think of the teachers in your life or the people in your life or even the animals in your life that you trust the most, that you feel safe or comforted in their presence, it helps if you've gone through something that was a little bit stressful or a little bit challenging, and you end up having a positive experience, and then you get to build that rapport with them. And so the same thing has happened here with my Mustang between the two of us, because she was feeling upset and she was rolling and not feeling comfortable, and I didn't take advantage of that. When she was laying down, it's not like I quickly pounced on her to try to touch her or wrestle a halter on her or something like that. I respected her having the opportunity to show me the up, the down, the uncomfortableness. I brought her the bucket of water. I brought her a friend. I brought her salts with a little bit of food to encourage her to drink. So I was respecting her space and respecting that trust that we had developed, and at the same time trying to help her. And that's really key, because when you are vulnerable with somebody else, if they take advantage of you, you really lose trust. And so we need to be careful about that, whether it's with another person or it's with an animal, in this case horses. We want to be really aware of when they're being vulnerable and help them feel comfortable and safe. So you can see I'm starting to make a little bit of progress going on her face and going towards her ears, getting up to that poll area. And I'm just working on touching her and having her be comfortable. And then, of course, using the food as just like an extra little motivation and positive reinforcement for her. So that way, when she is, you know, allowing me to do all of this to her, it's not just me doing things to you, it's her getting to be with me. And then I thought this was kind of funny. As things are melting, she's drinking out of the muddy, gross puddle of, the wet and the snow all melting. And literally in the background is her clean, automatic water that she could be drinking out of. Instead, she chooses the puddle. Here's a little better angle. The blue thing in the background, that's her automatic water that is heated to above freezing, and she chooses to drink out of the puddle instead. So there you go, guys. Let me know what you think.
Remember to subscribe and check out harmonyhorsemanship.com for even more learning.